So it sounds awful, of course, doesn't it? Having one's head broken into 7 pieces. But in fact, it's rather a dramatic way of saying something that's very logical and very simple. And of course it doesn't mean that one's head suddenly, literally, flies into 7 pieces like a jigsaw puzzle thrown into the air. So we are experiencing, in small ways or great ways, benefit or punishment all the time. We can understand quite clearly that there is negative and positive influences within each one of us. And I think it's quite understandable to us too that there is no grey area in between. There's no neutral zone. There's no sitting on the fence so far as these negative and positive impulses are concerned. We are either thinking, speaking, or acting or doing positively or negatively. There is nowhere in between, is there? So having agreed that everything, that is the way life works, therefore we have to agree too that things that happen to us, or our thoughts, or what we say, are either valuable or not valuable, value or anti-value, positive or negative. So we see, therefore, that these changes from positive to negative can be like a flash, can't they? In a moment, our minds, caused by something usually that happens outside us, which creates some thought in us, all happening like a flash of lightning, can make us think badly about someone, or the next minute something else can happen, and we think, oh, not a bad person after all. I think I'll get to know him, and so on. So all throughout every living moment, this is happening within us. We can't help it, because that is life. These impulses, positive or negative, are life itself. And furthermore, Buddhism teaches that it is that battle between these two opposing forces which creates the very energy of life itself. So there's nothing we can do about it. It's there. But on the other hand, we would rather have it under our control than out of control. And this, of course, we realize more and more because Buddhism gives us the way to control it and to quickly switch negative impulses into positive by the simple act of chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, even 3 times inside us. We can do that. So slander, of course, is the bad side of these impulses, where our life is for a moment, or for more than a moment, filled with negative influences. And we think badly about someone or something. And true, the worst form of slander, of course, is bearing hatred or bad feelings, particularly about someone who is a fellow member and who is also practicing and doing their utmost to bring out their Buddha state and challenging their human revolution just as we ought to be. So you get examples of this business of punishment or benefit very clearly, often. And maybe you're walking out of a room and something reminds you of someone you don't like. Or perhaps you've got to see someone you don't like. And as your mind begins to detest the thought of having to go and see this person, you close the door behind you and leave your finger in it. Or you get out of your car and you knock your head badly. That's very great good fortune. If you have the good fortune to be reminded that you're slandering, and if you have the perception to see that, then you can give yourself a good shake and chant a few daimoku for that person that you've been slandering. That's real good fortune. So we can, of course, through our daimoku, and through asking for the perception to see when we slander, we can build this sort of good fortune. And it really is good fortune, even though your finger may hurt, or your head may hurt after you've banged it on the car door. So it's important, therefore, to desire to overcome one's slander and express this desire as regularly as possible in one's daimoku, if one feels one is slandering, and particularly for the wisdom to see when you are slandering. This is really a valuable thing to do. So, of course, there's no magic about this. The term Gohonzon is used, and the power of the Gohonzon, but of course, what is actually the heart of this whole situation is the Gohonzon within oneself. If one slanders, one blocks off the Buddha state of one's life. And you block off, if you block off your Buddha state, therefore you block off your wisdom, your compassion, and all the other wonderful qualities of Buddhahood. So therefore, if you take it to an extreme, what one might call major slander, where you are really hating someone else, say, then this becomes an obsession. Your mind can become totally absorbed the moment that person comes into your mind, and it may take you another hour or two to get over it. That obsession, that hate, is blocking your life, blocking your Buddha state, blocking your good qualities, and therefore distorting your thinking. So, having your head broken into 7 pieces means you are no longer capable for a period. It may only be 5 minutes, but it could be 3 weeks or a month. You're no longer capable of thinking in a rational, logical way, because your mind is imbalanced by this negative hatred that you have for this particular person. Or it could be, with some people, even hatred of the Gohonzon, or hatred of someone who's practicing to the Gohonzon. So, although it sounds a dramatic thing, having your head broken into 7 pieces, what it means is your whole life becomes out of balance. Therefore, you cannot think in a logical, straight, sensible way. You're denying the great qualities of humanity from being uppermost in your lives. And we can, as a result of that, think wrongly, act wrongly, and so on. So this is what having your head broken into 7 pieces means. It's all within us. We create the situation for having our thoughts and our thinking process, if you like, distorted and disrupted by obsessive slander about someone or something. So this is very real, and it's incredible that it should not be have been taught at one time. And Mr. Makaguchi realized that from the pure view of compassionate view of helping people to overcome their sufferings, an understanding of punishment, as it's known, as well as benefit, is essential. Otherwise, there's something vital missing, isn't it? And you're withholding happiness from people as a result. So I hope everyone understands now, if they didn't understand before, that there is something called, rather not terribly well described as punishment, because it sounds as if you're being punished by God or someone. And in fact, of course, you're punishing yourself. In Japan, in Japanese, it's called bachi. Bachi is a nice word. It's sort of got a ring to it, hasn't it? So anyway, there is bachi and benefit. And life is one or the other at every second and moment of our lives.